All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Persian and the Cowboy podcast. And he's the Persian, I'm the Cowboy, of course. Today, we are going to be talking about a controversial topic. It's definitely one that I'm afraid to talk about in public, but we
Fuck
have
the
to.
public.
We need to talk about this because Trump has just been indicted for some kind of crime that he's committed. I don't know the full details. I'm just hearing about this, getting caught up on the details right now. So, Mr. Persian, hopefully you're going to be able to enlighten me on this in an unbiased way, but we will see about that. So, please tell us, what's going on? What happened out there?
So let's give a synopsis of what happened. Let me go back here and let me just say I'm very upset about this because it's a sad day for America and a sad day for our democracy that the opposition to Donald Trump, the Democrat Party and the Biden administration, they're going to be jailing their political opponent. We just basically yesterday put our democracy on hold and joined Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and other second and third world countries. So our democracy just died yesterday, in my opinion. But
okay, well,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So let me give you a synopsis here of what happened.
We'll back up before
Let me give you a synopsis. So Donald Trump has been investigated for the last 3-4 years for alleged crimes that have been conducted. He's had multiple people within his circle. His fixer, Michael Cohen, who was his attorney and lawyer for a long time, was indicted on many charges and went to jail for about a year or two, and he was let go. He made a deal, but he flipped on Donald Trump, and he basically said that there's a lot of shady stuff going around the Trump organization, around Trump, his children, and just within their organization. Trump is basically being indicted by the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, who, by the way, Alvin Bragg was a district attorney who ran on George Soros' money. He basically got money from George Soros, who's a billionaire, left-wing liberal who funds all these campaigns for Democrats. He basically bought this DA and put him in his pocket and got him elected. Alvin Bragg is the district attorney of Manhattan. Okay, Alvin Bragg and his office, among a grand jury of 23 people, indicted Donald Trump on 30 charges of business fraud. And one of the main charges that got Donald Trump in trouble was that Donald Trump apparently used campaign funds to pay Stormy Daniels, a porn star who he had a relationship with hush money payments to keep her quiet about his alleged affair that he had with her several years ago. So this wouldn't come up in the campaign. He paid her hush money payments, $200,000, but he didn't use it from personal funds. He used it with campaign funds. So this is a campaign issue. It's a campaign fraud issue. Okay. But they're basically indicting him on 29 other charges, including this main one, and they basically want to bring him to Manhattan next Tuesday, and they want to basically do the whole mugshot, fingerprinting thing, the whole nine.
Yeah, so the indictment seems interesting to me because, I mean, what are the laws with hush money and giving that kind of thing out? Is it the fact that he gave hush money? Okay, so first of all, let's take a step back, right?
Yeah.
So,
and then you were going to say something to my comment earlier about democracy, too. So I'll let you take the floor, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it back to just an overall moral standing of it. In no ways am I defending Donald Trump's alleged affair with Stormy Daniels.
I'm not defending that.
Right?
Yeah, of course. It's morally wrong, but
it's just shady things across. And you know me, I've been super critical about all of these politicians and all of the sketchy stuff that they've been doing. They're all bought and paid for and everything like that. You know, no one is above the law. No one should be given a free pass, no matter how powerful you get in our political system.
Yeah.
So my question then becomes, I don't know the law, so is it illegal to give someone hush money and go from for that? Isn't that something that celebrities do all the time?
Well, they
when
do,
they have
but the problem with this,
the
situation for Trump that's not good is that he used campaign funds.
Okay.
This is a campaign issue. He used funds within his campaign to pay this porn star hush money to keep her quiet about the affair that they had several years prior. Mm-hmm. So this wouldn't come up in the campaign. But let me say this, Cowboy. Let me say this real quick. I don't condone, affairs and things like that. I don't condone anything like that because just morally it's wrong. But if you're going to have an affair, you might as well divorce your wife or your husband or whatever and commit the act after if you can't control yourself. But I don't condone any of that. But let me just say this. In the United States, we don't use political power to arrest our political opponents. There's an election coming up. The Democrats know they're going to lose in a landslide. Trump is surging in the polls. He's ahead. The last poll that I checked, he was ahead 65%. He had 65% popularity of all Republican candidates. DeSantis was number 2, and Nikki Haley was number 3.
Yeah.
In a head-to-head matchup, he was ahead against Joe Biden, if the election was last week, by double digits, surging double digits.
Yeah.
And with a failed Biden economy, with high inflation, the banking crisis that's looming, and an economy that, in my opinion, is basically in a recession. They don't want to admit it, but it's in a recession. And you have a global perspective. Biden has made America much weaker. Our enemies are joining forces against us. American people are tired of it. They want Donald Trump back in office. So, to me, if they really had dirt on Donald Trump, they would have taken him, indicted him right after he was president or during his presidency. Mm-hmm. How ironic that this is all happening a year and a half before the next general election. They know he's going to win in an election, and they want to silence him by arresting him. They took a playbook out of countries like China, Iran, Russia, North Korea. Second world and third tier countries do this type of shit. We, the United States, do not jail our political opponents. This is political persecution. This is a witch hunt. And this is a political silencing act.
So I go back and question it, though, is because earlier you said this is the death of democracy.
It is. It is the death of democracy.
I question that because, even if this is like a trumped up charge and just not it is a witch hunt going after him, they're still going through the correct perspectives or the correct judicial process of it. They have a district attorney in Manhattan that is pressing these charges against Donald Trump, and the local court has ruled in the attorney's favor. Now Trump's going to appeal it and go on to, the state Supreme Court from there.
Right.
And then if it appeals again, then it goes up to the Supreme Court, and then, they figure it out from that. So my point is, democracy hasn't died. They are still following the law of the land that we're working within.
Right.
And I think that's what we need to protect above all else, is make sure that we are following the processes, we are going through the law. Now, is this district attorney, this Alvin Bragg guy, is he out for a personal vendetta against Trump? Maybe he
Absolutely.
is. Maybe, yeah. So that could be what it is.
And he's bought by George Soros, who's the enemy of the Republican Party and is the enemy of Donald Trump. And George Soros has always wanted to be involved in something like this. And he helped campaign and fund Alvin Bragg's campaign to become district attorney for Manhattan. So that's very shady.
Yeah.
That's very shady.
Definitely is. But fortunately, our judicial system has safeguards put into this when it gets appealed to the next level. I assume. I'm not a lawyer. Don't take anything that I'm saying as legal advice. So my question would be, what happens to the next level? So Trump's going to get arrested, put in there. The trial's going to happen, and then sent up to the next level. So I don't see that as a death of democracy. I still think we're following the laws of the land that are out there. If this Alvin Bragg guy is bending the laws and trying to push it so he gets a conviction on Trump, maybe. But then I think on the next level appeals, they should be figured out. And then my other thought, though, is that I don't think this is going to hurt Trump at all. I think this is going to help Trump out more.
It's good for him, actually.
Yeah.
It's only going to make him more popular.
Can you imagine how good his mugshot is going to look?
Oh, he's going to look fantastic.
Yeah.
That beautiful gold hair is going to look great. So the Democrats are so fucking stupid because they just realized that this only made him more popular for the general election coming up. He's going to even win by a much larger margin when he runs. And the other thing is, people are even more tired of the Democrat Party And they're gonna hate the Democrat Party even more because they use their political power to try to squash this guy, and it's only backfiring. And let me tell you this: I'm gonna bring a couple facts for you. Let's just start with President with President Clinton, right? Donald Trump, what he did was not right in certain aspects, but there's been other politicians and presidents who've done much worse things. I'm gonna give you a list. Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton has had multiple affairs with multiple women. I don't care about the affairs, but there's been multiple women that have come forward during that time when that happened and after that said Bill Clinton raped us, Bill Clinton molested us, Bill Clinton fondled us in the office, he showed his genitals and private parts to us, but that's okay. Bless you. But that's okay. Hillary Clinton did a lot of things to protect Bill Clinton for her own political career and hush these women. And via court and everything, they've done some shady stuff. Here's another fact for you. The Clinton family, they have a foundation, the Clinton Foundation. They're getting money from a lot of nefarious characters around the world. They're getting money from the Saudis, from various Saudi princes who have very shady backgrounds.
Yeah, the Clinton Foundation has a lot of money.
They're doing a lot of business with dictators around the world. They're doing business with corporations who are doing bad things for human rights, and they're taking hundreds of millions of dollars. Here's the final thing. Here's the final thing with the Clintons. A lot of people who've worked with the Clinton family over the years, over the last 4 decades, many of them have either died from suicide or whom have disappeared or who have been jogging and were violently attacked and killed. There was an intern that had dirt on Hillary Clinton and information. This intern was jogging in Washington, D.C. and was shot while jogging. Was not mugged. The wallet was still there. The cash was there, but was executed. Okay? Then you also have the recent thing in Arkansas.
Do you have a name for that one?
I don't have a name, but we'll look it up on the next show. But then there was also another person that worked for Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton that recently committed suicide, in quotation marks. The person strangled themselves with a wire and shot themselves in the chest. If you're going to commit suicide, just do the wire. Why do we have to go take it to an extreme and finish a job and shoot the person, shoot myself in the chest with a gun? That's very shady. Okay? Now let me go to the, who am I going to? I'm going to the Bush family. Okay?
Oh, boy.
I'm going to go to the Bush family. So the Bush family, George Bush, and then Dick Cheney, during 9/11, we went to war in Afghanistan, then war in Iraq, which was a waste of time, Iraq.
Yeah.
George Bush and Dick Cheney and his whole administration lied about weapons of mass destruction. Saddam Hussein did not have any weapons of mass destruction. He had weapons of mass destruction in the 80s and early 90s, but he didn't have it during the time where they wanted to go to war. Okay? Their invasion not only cost the lives of 1 million Iraqis, through Amnesty International, the numbers are out, displaced many Iraqis, it destroyed Iraq as a country, it destabilized the region, but also 5,000 plus American soldiers died, tens of thousands of others were maimed and wounded and are on disability. For what? They lied to an American public. They spent trillions of dollars of taxpayer money on a war that was fictitious, but they're all scotch-free. They're just chilling. George Bush, Dick Cheney, Condoleezza Rice, Colin Powell. I think Colin Powell actually recently passed away, but anyways. Donald Rumsfeld passed away. Paul Wolfowitz. The list goes on. George Tenet. These guys are all war criminals. Yeah. They lied about bullshit. I'm almost there to the point. And then Barack Obama. Barack Obama had many things go on, but a couple things I want to highlight. Number one, Barack Obama was a supporter of the Islamic Republic of Iran. He always wanted to make peace with them. He was an appeaser. He was an ass kisser. He really wanted to appease the Ayatollahs in Iran, which is a Democrat standard. That's what they do. So Barack Obama unfroze $100 billion plus of assets to the Iranian regime, and basically they flew a plane to Tehran and had cash on the plane for the Ayatollahs. So here you go. Because of the nuclear bullshit deal, which is a stupid nuclear deal, because you checked a couple boxes and were such a good boy, here's your $100 billion. Here you go. You don't give your enemy who's killing American troops in Iraq and throw the Middle East region money like that, okay? The other thing is the whole Fast and the Furious, the whole cartel thing, where there was guns being shipped to the cartel from the Obama administration. and they found out because the plane crashed in the border area, and these were guns.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where I'm like,
there's worse. So to make my point real quick,
yeah,
there's worse crimes that have been conducted, but let's just go ahead and turn the page. And the final thing, Cowboy, I'll say this, and I'll let you take the floor, sir. The other part is the Biden administration. Do you guys know how many deals Joe Biden has done with China? Biden's family, the Biden crime family, has made tens of millions of dollars with China that has benefited the Biden family through Hunter Biden, his son, his deranged, crazy, drug addict fiend son who loves crack more than anything. Okay? They have made so much money through China and other international groups to benefit their family. They've used their political power, their power of the office to do this when he was vice president and now as president. The documents are out there where his son is emailing the people and saying 10% for the big guy. That's 10% for the Godfather, for Biden.
Yeah.
Okay? And then, but that's okay. All these crimes that I've listed are okay. That's okay. Let's just go ahead and, turn the page. Trump paid a porn star with $200,000 worth of campaign funds. That's so bad. But causing a war and killing 1 million innocent Iraqis and killing American soldiers for no reason, that's okay. That's okay. The Bush family, the Obama family, the Biden family, the Clinton family should all be in jail for what they've done. They've done worse crimes, but that's okay. Let's just go ahead and give them a little slap on the wrist. Give them a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, and that's what I hate.
Fuck that.
I hate it personally just to...
Sorry, I know I was on a rant there. I
Oh,
apologize.
I know. You were on a roll. But, I get upset about all of that stuff, right? It's like no one's above the law. Everyone should be held accountable for it. And I think that is where things get tricky, is when we do give these district attorneys, the police officers, and everyone that's enforcing the law, the subjectivity of when to enforce the law. They're allowed to kind of pick and choose on no, I'm going to give this guy a pass on this. You just get a warning for a speeding ticket. Go ahead, on your way, right? But if you start picking and choosing who you're going to apply the law to, then your own personal biases come into play.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden there's an agenda involved with it. So if that's what this Alvin Bragg guy is going through and just says, hey, I'm just looking for anything to hit on Donald Trump, and he throws this in there. And I mean, that's how they got Al Capone, right? They got him on tax evasion, right? They just, any little ticky-tack thing just to get him in for it, right? So maybe that's what they're hoping is going to happen.
Well, that's what they're trying to do. And then you have the whole tax situation and all this.
Well, but that's just every billionaire.
That's every billionaire does that.
They evade everything.
They avoid paying taxes because they have ways to do it. And I don't blame them. If I was a millionaire, I'd do the same thing. I wouldn't want to pay fucking taxes.
Yeah, there's enough loopholes in the system so that they don't have to pay many taxes.
Smart. They're smart.
Exactly.
I would do the same thing. You're telling me that if you and I were millionaires or billionaires, you and I would both avoid paying taxes.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, as much as we possibly can.
I mean, I'll pay something, but I gotta,
The bell's going to toll eventually. But so, I mean, that's extremely frustrating to me. From the little bit that I've researched about this so far, it does seem like they're just catching Trump on an accounting issue of he used the campaign fund money versus his own personal money for this, and that's the law that he broke. So
campaign laws and all that, campaign funding laws, campaign laws in general.
And so I agree that no one is above the law and that everyone should be held accountable for it. But I just think that even from a Democratic perspective, I think this is going to come back and bite them in the ass even more, because you're giving Trump way more attention than he needs to. He's going to have some mugshots that are going to go viral all over the internet right now. It's just, and you're solidifying his base around him that much more. And the crying call is going to be, they're trying to take him down. They know they can't beat him in a fair fight, so they got to fight dirty now.
Oh yeah, they're fighting dirty for sure. And
so I just see it backfiring them right in their butt. Yeah, and
it's gonna hurt them for the general election in 2024 when they're gonna lose seats in the House, they're gonna lose seats in the Senate, They're going to lose governorships. They're going to lose a lot of key races, and they're going to lose the presidency. And you know what?
Yeah, I'm just
Fuck
tired
them.
of the Democrat versus Republican thing.
I want more political parties. I'm for that, and I'm tired of these two parties. I'm an independent. I'm a registered independent myself, but I do not agree with this whole thing because it makes us look weak in front of the world stage, and we are very vulnerable now globally. And to have a former president in an orange jumpsuit, this is wrong. This is wrong. If he's committed a crime, then yeah, something's gonna be worked out. But you have the last three presidents plus the current president have committed worse crimes.
Yeah, well,
but that's okay.
Here's the last point I wanted to make on it too. Is I'm like, oh gosh, history is trying to repeat itself, and Hitler got arrested too. And he spent time in jail, and that just solidified everything around him even that much more, isolating him from it. So that's the terrifying thing to me, is to just draw that analogy and everything like that. I don't think Trump is Hitler, but it's still just scary that they're just giving him that much more firepower to go with.
Dude, do you know that for somebody like him, who was president, who has this vengeful attitude, you know how pissed I would be if I'm in his shoes, that I'm being fucking, basically made fun of in this way. I'm being embarrassed. I would go after every single person that tried to put me in jail, and I would fuck with them day and night. I would get them arrested on various charges. I would go after them.
Yeah, but now you're
but I would try to dig up some shit on them, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but now you're just fighting fire with fire. The problem was that they're coming up and trying to find any little ticky-tack thing to stick up to you, and now you're going to come back and say...
I would say if that was me. But him...
Yeah.
What's going to happen with him is that it's only going to make him more popular before the election. He's not going to go to jail. Something's going to be worked out. Some sort of fine is going to get paid, and he's going to run as president for 2024. He's going to win the primaries as the Republican candidate, and he's going to beat Joe Biden in the general election if Biden is even mentally competent to run. He'll beat anybody, and he'll eat their lunch for them. Trump will be president in 2024, guaranteed.
Yeah, I think
he will steamroll anybody in his path.
I think it's likely. But that's the thing. It's like you cannot fight fire with fire in this situation.
And he's smart. He'll play it in his way.
You cannot. We need to either blanketly apply all the laws to everyone or change the laws.
Well, if you're going to take one guy down, you have to take down everybody with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because how can he just get all the blame?
Yeah.
And then everybody that I mentioned previously, it's okay.
They're all on the Epstein list anyway. So
these are all the people, especially Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, and with the Epstein. We got to do an episode on that soon.
But Donald's probably on that list too. Yeah,
Donald's probably on that list too because he was hanging out with Epstein. But I really hope he didn't go to that island. I have to say, Epstein's Love Island. I hope he wasn't on there. Please, Donald, please. But honestly, it is a complete fucking mess because the system's broken. The law is the law, but at the same time, if you're gonna have the law, you need to enforce it on everybody that's committed these crimes. There's a lot of shady stuff going on in politics as always, but you have a lot of people, whether you're governors, representatives, Congress people, Senate, there's been a lot of crimes that have been done by all these people that are just go totally unnoticed. But they are focusing on Trump, and they're getting away from the actual stories that are happening in the world. Yeah. The rise of China, the alliance between Russia and China, the Iran-Saudi peace deal that's allowed China to expand its influence in the Middle East, the dollar value that's coming down with the American dollar, the looming instability with the economy and recession that's happening, and maybe even a banking crisis. These are the real stories that they're trying to avoid by doing this kind of shit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the bigger message. I think you hit it on the nail on the head with that one. That's the bigger plan for it all. And if I was China or Russia, and I'm
laughing right now. I'm dancing. If I'm in Moscow or Beijing, I'm happy.
If I'm China and Russia, and I'm trying to figure out how do I defeat the United States of America, I know I cannot win a conventional war with them. I know I cannot win a digital war with them probably either. They have more technology. They got more IT people, everything like that. My population is aging. I don't have a lot of time to just wait them out and starve them out. I don't have the industrial might that the countries do have. And as China, I would try my very best to divide up the United States into smaller chunks to get them to break up, fight with each other, start a civil war, start some civil unrest, and get them pissed off about everything. And I think that's exactly what's happening right now. I think that's the real winner with is China and Russia.
Oh yeah, they're winning on that
with
front.
the Trump getting arrested, because Trump getting arrested just divides us that much more.
Oh, we're more divided than ever. I mean, we were already divided, but this is a whole thing. I mean, you're going to have. I mean, if I'm in the United States government, like I'm a little panicked right now because you're going to have a lot of people who are, not exactly well thinking that are going to try to use this to their advantage. And this is not good. This is not going to have a good outcome. The Democrats did this, and they're going to cause a lot of problems. It's going to cause a lot of problems economically. It's going to cause a lot of problems here domestically between people, the amount of tension and hate and anger on the street. I mean, I'm fucking angry right now talking to you about this because it doesn't make sense, because we have become Iran. This is what they do in Iran. This is what they do in China. This is what they do in Russia. They jail political prisoners by using political means, by using people who have been politically bought by another party to subdue another person.
Yeah, so I think I still have faith in our justice system and our checks and balances that we have in place. I think he'll get indicted originally, and then I think after an appeal, after some fines or whatever, and if his crime is just accounting fraud where he paid for the hush money out of the campaign funds, then I see that. I don't see that being a lengthy or long punishment or anything like that. So that'll be interesting.
I don't understand this whole thing. Like, what a waste of taxpayer money. What a waste. And this guy, Alvin Bragg, by the way, New York has a surging crime rate. Mm-hmm. Like, why don't you focus on your surging crime rate, asshole?
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on this. What are you, Mr. Hotshot? Your city's a shithole. Yeah. New York's a shithole, just like even though I'm wearing a Giants hat because I like the Giants. But San Francisco's a shithole, too. You look at all these Democrat cities, they're all shitholes. They're crime-ridden, infested cesspools, just welfare states, homelessness everywhere. New York has surging crime everywhere. They haven't seen this kind of crime in 2 decades. They're not focusing on that. They're focusing on this bullshit because his puppet master, George Soros, told him, you got to do this because I hooked you up in this election, and he's afraid.
Yeah.
So this guy, imagine being Alvin Bragg right now. You're probably looking over your shoulder, taking a shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, at least the Clintons are on his back, so he shouldn't be that afraid.
Yeah, there you go. But Cowboy, I don't know what to say, man. Like,
I
would say the status of America, to wrap up this topic, things are not good. Things are not good here right now, domestically. Things are not good. We have a beautiful system. We will prevail. Things will get better. But right now, things are very tense. People are angry. You have high inflation. You have an economic situation. We're not as strong globally. We have our enemies that are joining up forces with one another to dislodge us as the number one superpower, but yet these stories are not being discussed fully. And instead, they're going after a former president who has a minuscule charge, and they're trying to go after him for the last 4 years. So I rest my case on that.
Yeah, my final thoughts are, I think this whole thing is just a distraction to keep us divided and upset and at arms with each other. I think we need to focus on the stuff that truly matters, which is getting our economy running again, trying to weed out the all of the corrupt people that are in politics right now, finding a way to get money out of our political system that we have so our democracy can take full effect with it. And we are playing into China and Russia's playbook by getting pissed off and upset with each other about this.
That's what they want.
We need to get out into each other and into our community, talk to our neighbors, talk to our friends, and see what they're seeing, what they have going on there, and get out of our digital bubbles that are just feeding us the propaganda that we want to see. So that's focus on the stuff that's truly important in life is what I'll wrap up on.
Absolutely. Amen. Folks, thank you so much for listening. We'll have new episodes next week. Take care. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. And free Donald Trump.
Cheers, y'all.
Take care.